So, there are many amazing all bosses speedruns out there on YouTube. Has anyone actually attempted to speedrun all the bosses? I'm talking all the normal bosses, all the shadow pieces, all the new lunar bosses, and of course, all the enraged variants. Better yet, we're gonna do that while playing under some massive restrictions. Firstly, we can't use any minions to aid us, including other bosses and Beefalos. Secondly, we can't kill any bosses in the first 20 days, and this is gonna put us in a serious time crunch later on. Lastly, all of these items are banned, including the pan flute, which is gonna make things very spicy indeed. Additionally, as a general rule, I will refrain from using healing foods and sanity foods during boss fights. I can only rely on Wigfrid's passive health and sanity gain, since that is the character I'm gonna play. The first thing we're gonna do will be to rush the ruins. This is absolutely mandatory for the run, since we 100% require at least 2 items from down there before night 11. We have some preparations to do before we head down, however. We need living logs, 2 moleworms, 15 gold, fireflies, 1 pigskin, and basic resources. Here, I prototype a backpack, an alchemy engine, and a shovel, but I still need 2 silk to catch the fireflies we need, and we can always hope for living trees, so I'm going to explore this forest we're in. Our prayers were immediately answered when I find 2 living trees right away and eventually a spider nest. Here I knew exactly where to look for the best chance to find the terrarium, just by looking at the world generation, so if you're interested to know how I did it, let me know in the comments and I will make an exploration guide after this series. I craft the bug net with the silk and we head into the caves on day 2. So, if you didn't know, you can actually catch fireflies any time of the day in the caves, which is why I didn't wait for nighttime on the surface. Now we must find the ruins, and to do that we run away from our sinkhole and follow the rocky paths to the orange mud biome. Right here I find stairs right next to it, which is awesome, and I will definitely put my base close to here. By using my secret exploration tricks I quickly find the lichen, which is the first step in locating the ruins. Now, we're looking for a wet glowberry plant. If it's wet, that means it's secretly a depth worm waiting to ambush. When I find it, I put down an alchemy engine and craft a hand-batted miner hat to kill the depth worm. We make a gold pickaxe, another helmet, and using the big glowberry from the depth worm, moggles that let me see the whole screen. I realized that I forgot to hammer my science machine earlier, and I wanted another pickaxe for later, so I mined 1 more gold. I also don't have enough logs to craft a campfire now, meaning that I need to chop down the banana trees that grow here. When looking for the ruins proper, I need to kill every depth worm I can possibly find for food. You know, so I don't starve. Wigfrid can't eat the bananas, so monster meat it is. So this is very rare. I spot the sacred branch right here, which means we have a split ruins layout. And if I wasn't lucky enough to go this way, it would have taken me ages to find it. So before heading in, I want to cook all the depth worms I've been killing. But I hear the nightmare phase activate, so I take the opportunity to farm nightmares here for the nightmare fuel. We're finally ready to pop into the ruins on day 4, and this is the sacred biome, which is exactly where we need to be. Ever since Clay updated this biome with this new set piece, you can get everything from just this branch. Since it's still the nightmare phase, I farm tons of nightmare fuel in minutes, and I can initially do this unarmored thanks to Wigfrid's perks. When the nightmares are gone, I use these rooks here to destroy everything for me for free when I kill this bishop. Bishops are particularly nasty with their long-range, high-accuracy blasts. This is where things started to go south. I wanted to use this rook to destroy this ancient station, but I ate an unarmored hit from him in the process. Not only that, but the station spawned spitters that immediately killed the rook, meaning I had to take care of them myself. And after that, I had to fight 2 bishops at the same time. Since the lantern is banned, I'm using head slot light. The problem is that battle helmets are also head slot, meaning I need to switch hats every time the bishops attack. You can see that I only equip my log suit here to conserve its durability, just in case I need to fight multiple nightmares again. These statues are the reason we're here. They drop Thuleside and gems, which are very important crafting materials for boss killing equipment. The only gems I don't need are the orange gems, and the green gems are the most important ones. I also want to hammer any broken clockworks I find to obtain their frazzled wires. These wires can be traded for gold later, and we need a lot of gold for the battle helmets. Please avert your eyes since this is painful to watch. I took 3 unarmored hits here by playing extremely recklessly. Don't be me and just equip your log suit. When everything settles, I'm down to 30 HP, meaning that I have to play a lot better from now on. On top of that, we also have 5 useless orange gems. When heading back, I notice something sitting on a chair right here. This is a resting horror that we need to kill, but to do so, I need to be insane. Luckily, the nightmare phase is starting again and I can just sit by a nightmare light for a few seconds. Ending the resting horror rewards us with a blueprint that will save us a lot of time later. I won't start crafting now, but I would need 1 more green gem for that, so the gathering continues. Before that though, I make a stupid decision and craft a lazy amulet. This was useless since the amulet's only use ended up being grabbing that medallion we saw earlier, but I could have just crafted a medallion for less. Whatever, at least I cleared up my inventory a bit. After killing a million nightmares, I get it together and perform this epic dodging sequence. Enjoy. All that, and I still didn't even get another green gem. At least we have enough Thulesite to compensate. But you may wonder, why are the green gems so important? Well, they are used to make construction amulets that halve the cost of 5 things you craft. And we need to craft a lot. We need a Thulesite club for the movement speed it provides, a deconstruction staff, which costs a green gem but is mandatory for beating the game, so we need to craft it. At least 2 Starcaller staves that provide light and heat during boss fights. We also need to bring home a construction amulet, meaning I can't even craft the armor we need with a discount. Finally, we need a Magiluminescence amulet for the movement speed, and that medallion we grabbed earlier. We can now leave the ruins with a lot of gems, wires, gears, fuel, and crafted gear. If you have played this game before, you may wonder why I didn't choose to kill the ruins boss in this boss speedrun. Well, the reason is twofold. 1, I want to show you that killing it is by no means a necessity to complete a ruins rush, even if you don't get lucky with the green gems like I did. And 2, I want the first boss to be Enraged Dragonfly, which is the 2nd hardest boss of the run. This is also the reason for the rule that prevents me from killing bosses in the first 20 days. You may have noticed that I've been farming some cave spiders to obtain the fossils their dens are built from in the background. I will need these shortly. I also want to dig up some nice turf for the base. And with that, we can finally head to the surface on day 8. We have a lot of things that need to get done before day 20 when we can start killing bosses. Exploring around the good cave entrance, I find a wormhole and decide to make that my base, without checking where it leads for some reason. Then, I gift all the wires I gathered in the ruins to the Pig King, and he showers me in gold as a reward. I found a triple max husk biome, where I mined some niter, and when looking for grass and twigs I found a marble set piece. Marble is very good for making armor, so we will definitely grab every piece we can find. We head back to the Pig King to hammer all the pig houses around, since they drop a lot of wood and stone, and we need that for base construction. Another very important item for this run is spider silk. We need around 60 in the early days, meaning we will explore around this forest again more thoroughly and destroy any spider nest we can find. Look at this craziness, another living tree. That makes 4 in the same forest, which I don't think I've ever seen before. After decimating the whole forest, we also need to burn a bunch of trees. This way we can obtain a large quantity of charcoal, which is required for this run. I've now gathered most of what we need to build a base, and I will be building my own version of this base design, made by JKosaurus, with some different structures and turfs. But The full moon night of day 11 is coming up, so we need to pause the base building now and craft some stone walls. We need to find the Moonstone immediately, but luckily for me, I know exactly where to look. The only place it could be is along one of these roads. We've been everywhere else. And there we go, I find it right away. We're here at the Moonstone to convert one of the Starcaller staves we crafted in the ruins into a Mooncaller staff, which can only be done during a full moon. To do it, we need to protect the Moonstone from a horde of monsters, which this setup does for us. How it works is that the walls funnel all the monsters to the fossils, which the monsters can't get through, and I stand on the other side, killing them for meat. It is totally viable for Wigfrid to tank like this. I only lost half my health and one battle helmet, but I profited a whole bunch of meat. Excellent, now I can just grab this staff and get back to base building. In the base we're going to want to build a 6 crockpot setup for fast cooking, a potter's wheel to store boss figure sketches, a chest zone for item organization, a farm plot, and a very underrated structure in the cartography table. For those who don't know, it can be used to turn recipe cards, blueprints, and figure sketches that we don't need into papyrus. Now that we have a storage setup, we will want to return to pigging to pick up all the gold. Imagine having this much gold in real life. Using the papyrus we obtained from our cartography table, we also want to build a bird cage and pop a crow inside. If we feed the bird meat, we get eggs in return, which we should make heavy use of. In fact, since the 3 best meat recipes are banned, I will almost exclusively cook bacon and eggs, which cost just meat and fill for 75 hunger, 20 health and 5 sanity, as well as a really healthy diet, trust me. In my exploration, I've also collected all the seeds I could find, since it's really important that we manage to grow a pumpkin. If you watched my first video, you know exactly why we need a pumpkin, and without one, I have to reset the whole run. I finally realized that I haven't explored the wormhole that is literally inside my base, or any wormhole for that matter. It leads me to the best possible place it could, right next to the Oasis Desert, which was the last biome we needed to find. For those of you who don't know, wormholes can't actually spawn in the desert itself, meaning this is particularly lucky. For some reason, the Oasis Desert is home to electric goats, which horns are very conductive and useful for making advanced weaponry. The goats are a skittish lot, meaning we need to wait for night and kill them in their sleep. The spiders are, however, really annoying nocturnal bastards that almost killed me. But thanks to Wigfrid, I'm alive. I took some time to explore the rest of the desert, not only to find more goats, but also to find something I've neglected to mention thus far. The Shadow Pieces boss fight requires me to find 3 different suspicious marbles, scattered randomly around the map. The problem is that I need to find all of them before day 21. They can spawn anywhere, so no fancy exploration tricks, and I haven't found any of them yet. In other words, this is the final RNG barrier we need to pass to have a great run. Neither the Oasis nor the Spider Quarry seem to contain any pieces, but while picking reeds in the swamp I found not only 1, but 2 suspicious marble pieces. Problem is, however, that they are very far away from their destination in this world, so here's hoping that any of the 2 wormholes I found near here brings me closer. Well, the first one won't help in any way, but since we're in a savanna, I need to trap 4 rabbits to make a magic hat machine. But I grabbed 3 like an idiot. To my credit, however, I do remember that I need to harvest some beefalo wool to make a saddle, so that I can actually ride a beefalo. You see, the problem with the marble pieces is that they are really heavy and would take ages to move on foot. A beefalo, however, can carry them no problem, and with a beefalo bell, they can also follow you through wormholes. Before I ride the beefalo, however, I need to start another mandatory side quest that we could use the beefalo's help with. By deconstructing the Mooncaller staff we got during the full moon, we obtain an iridescent opal gem that we must bring into the ancient archives. The archives can be found in the caves behind the blue mushtree forest, after mining your way through the secret passage. This biome is a dormant shell of its former glory until we activate it, and to do that we must socket the iridescent gem in the final archive switch. When activated, the fountains of knowledge around will give us forbidden knowledge that we need to unlock, and it makes a beautiful sound. To unlock this forbidden knowledge, we need to play a memory game on this ancient orchestrina. After some trial and error, we unlock the knowledge of how to craft an astral detector. When used on the surface, this item directs us towards 6 altar pieces that we need later on to spawn Celestial Champion, the final boss of the game. Back at the surface, I check out the wormhole in the Moonstone forest, and it leads me right where I want to go. Perfect. I can grab the 4th rabbit I missed earlier and tame a Beefalo. Moving the pieces with the Beefalo can be quite annoying at first, since it constantly bucks you off. I drop off the Nighthead by the wormhole and I go grab the Rook Nose before jumping through, since I deem that to be the most efficient strategy at the moment. Then they need to be left at the Shadow Pieces set piece for now, while I look for the final piece. I also place down the astral detector to triangulate the position of the first altar. Since day 20 is coming up and I'm short on time, I drop it off next to a river with a driftwood piece, and I do the same with the second altar. The final 4 altars will have to be found later, since they are far out on the ocean. The clock is now ticking and I have only 1 day left to find the marble piece. I explore around the Bee Queen biome and I find a useless Nighthead. We need a bishop head. My heart literally dropped like a rock when this happened. However, all is not lost, since when I explored around the Dragonfly Desert, the very next day, I found the bishop head. You can see how much I'm shaking here. Of course, then I do the stupidest thing imaginable and forget to drop off the head as a set piece when I start killing a random bishop on the Beefalo. The Beefalo deals very little damage, so this took way longer than I thought, and I decided to kill some Beefalos for no reason, right after that. If I hadn't put the piece in place before day 21, the Beefalo would have gone in heat for 35 days and not let me ride it at all. Hopping through the wormhole, I immediately get greeted by the Walrus hunting party, which was actually great since MacTusk dropped his 50% chance tusk for me. I am, however, in another hurry since my rabbits are dying, so I drop off the Beefalo here and rush home. Look at how close the rabbits were to dying before I made the Pressy Agitator. Using the tusk, I also craft a walking cane, which is an amazing item that increases your movement speed by a whopping 25% while wielding it. Using a boomerang, I also need to kill some crows that land for their feathers, and I got pretty lucky, but then I made a horrible realization. Look at how many pumpkins we've grown. That's right, the answer's 0, and I'm on my last patch of seeds. Whatever, I just have to hope at this point. I use the feathers to make pencils, and with them, along with some magical items like the Ruins Medallion, I write 4 of Wigfrid's special battle songs. These will be lifesavers in boss fights, since they reduce durability drain for weapons I use and keep my health and sanity up during the fights. Finally, I craft 4 ice staves in preparations for the first boss fight we're going to do. That's right, it's time for Enraged Dragonfly. If you haven't played this game before, you should know that people normally prevent Dragonfly from going enraged with a pan flute. That item is banned, however, meaning Enraged Dragonfly is the only option. Dragonfly will also spawn many laves during the fight, which I brought the ice staves to deal with. We aren't doing any wall cheese here. Okay, I think I'm ready. Enjoy the fight. Oh boy, not as clean as it could have been, but I only lost 1 Thuldsight crown, so I'm happy. For our troubles, we are rewarded with every type of color gem and some scales. The scales can be used to craft the scaled furnace, which will be a welcome addition to the base in winter since it provides infinite heat. I chop all the burned trees around to pre-craft it, clearing up some inventory space, as I pick up all the rocks that the base dropped during the fight. In this episode we may have only killed 1 boss, but it was a really hard one, and in the next episode we will increase that to a whopping 7 bosses, so stay tuned for that. If you watched my first video, you'll definitely know who one of them is. As always, I'll keep a public dislike button in the comments, but until the next episode, enjoy life!